everyone, my name's Charlie and I am the founder and director of the eco textile shop Offset Warehouse. You can find all of our eco fabrics on offsetwarehouse.com. I'm also the writer behind the Swatch book, which is a blog designed for industry designers in the fashion and interiors industries particularly. So today I wanted to talk to you a bit about protecting your designs with intellectual property. And this is something that's really important for you as a designer, and something that not many designers have a good grasp on. So it would be great if I can bend your ear for a few minutes and I can go through some of the very basics with you. So just to clarify, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. So if you are looking for some advice, please do seek out a professional. But these are some basics that you can use to protect yourself and protect your work as well. So originality and creativity are really the trademarks of a successful fashion or textile designer. You know how difficult it is to come up with the designs that are going to be accepted by your audience and loved by your audience. You invest time and your energy and resources into designing something that's original, and so the last thing that you want is for somebody to end up ripping off your designs, creating copies of it and profiting off your work and your energy and your hard-earned money and resources. Unfortunately, there are people out there who will do that to you, but fortunately there are laws that will protect your work against them, and as a designer you should be really aware of these laws and how it applies to you. Designs are covered by a legal system called the intellectual property system. Intellectual property is also commonly referred to as IP. Intellectual property is something new or original that you create yourself. It's a physical asset like a design, a brand or logo or artistic work that you can take credit for. IP rights protect this design and it helps you to keep it unique to yourself. You can find out a little bit more about IP at entrepreneur.com and I'll put a link to that for you. In this video, we're going to be looking at the three main concepts covered by IP, which is copyrights, design patents, and trademarks. This will help you identify the scope of each, understand what applies to you, and the suitable steps you can take to protect yourself and your work. First of all, copyright. Copyright laws protect the expression of creative ideas, not just the idea. This means that it protects original prints, patterns, colour arrangements, combinations of design elements that have been expressed on a medium or used in apparel or accessories. It's important to understand that while you can protect your design under copyright law, this doesn't extend to the utilitarian aspect of the article. For example, when you create a unique print for a t-shirt, you can obtain the copyright to this print. However, the shirt on which the printing was done will not be covered by copyright as it's a functional piece of clothing. Copyright is automatically created when you put your design down onto a medium, whether it's a sketch or if it's a fabric. You can notify others that you own this work by placing the copyright symbol beside it and adding your name and the date of creation just to make it even clearer. It gives you and you alone the unique rights to copy, modify, display and distribute it. Although it's not required, registering your copyright will strengthen the legal rights you have over your design. Copyright laws protect the work for the author's lifetime and an additional 50 years after that. For a little more information, there's an article on Design Milk that will give you a better idea of everything you need to know about copyright. I'll put a link up for you as well. The second thing we're looking at is design patents. Design patents give you exclusive design rights for a new ornamental design of a basic functional item. If you remember the earlier example that I gave you about the print on the t-shirt, I mentioned that the copyright doesn't extend to the t-shirt itself because it has a utilitarian element and it's not a new garment. However, if this particular shirt had an innovative design aspect different from any other existing styles in look or functionality, you could apply for a design patent for it. This will prevent others from copying it without your permission. You can also apply for a patent on clothing or fabric that has a very specific function. A design patent will provide you exclusive rights to your design for 14 years. However, obtaining a patent is incredibly time-consuming and very expensive. You will probably require the services of a qualified intellectual property lawyer to identify whether your design is eligible for a patent, which comes with a cost, before you've even started creating that patent, that legal document. To learn a bit more about patents and how to protect your designs, here's another great article by the Intellectual Property Office. Patents aren't very common in the fashion and textiles industries unless it's a functional design idea that has never been thought of before. It may seem like a great idea to protect your idea, but the time and money that it takes to do so might not be worth it. So really think about it before you go ahead. Copyright may well be enough to cover you in this area. Trademarks. Now, trademarks are particularly interesting. So trademarks are the third area that the IP system covers, intellectual property system. Trademark law applies to brand names, symbols, logos, slogans, appearance and packaging of fashion items, so their identity remains unique. It can also be a distinctive style element, like a unique dress shape or stitching style that can be registered as a brand trademark. When you launch a product, it's the label that acts as your marketing tool. This is usually the name or the logo that the customer identifies when they buy it. It's an asset, it's a valuable asset, as it distinguishes you from your competitors, and you can protect it by registering it as your trademark. Before registering your trademark, you should ensure that it is distinctive and it's strong. Only then will it be easy to enforce. The Burberry check, incredibly distinctive, is a really good example. You can either register your trademark just in the UK or the entire EU, or whichever country you're in, but you need to renew the registration every 10 years to keep it, and of course it costs every time you register it. A great example is the Christian Louboutin red soles. It's one of the most famous trademarks in the whole world. They've been legal battles for years defending their trademarks. Something called the Landmark Trial, which was in 2012, the Landmark Trial was in 2012, which was when the French design house Yves Saint Laurent released a selection of shoes in a range of colour, and they matched the uppers to the soles. And it just so happened that one of their shoes, the upper was red, so of course the sole was red. This led to a huge court case. The court case ended with the assertion that Louboutin cannot prevent a brand from creating an entirely red shoe, but they can prevent other brands creating shoes with a contrasting colour and a red sole, as the customer would assume that this product was a Louboutin shoe. So this means that lots of other shoe companies, such as Van Haren, which is a very big Dutch company, had to completely stop making their shoes with red soles. But as with Louboutin and the Burberry check, just because you have a trademark doesn't mean that people won't copy it. At one time, the Burberry check was one of the most counterfeited trademarks in the whole world. To defend your trademark takes huge legal proceedings and, you guessed it, cash. So how do these rights help you as a designer? The IP laws I've gone through not only protect your work once it's been produced, but also help to protect you throughout the design phase of your product as well. So when you share your design with a prospective client, your IP rights prevent them from disclosing the design or using it without your permission. To grow as a designer, you have to sell your designs to a manufacturer, and for this you have two options. Assignment: you can transfer your copyright and give exclusive or full control to the buyer by selling it, or you can license it. You will own the copyright, but give the buyer exclusive or non-exclusive rights in return for royalties. There's a great article which goes through this in a bit more detail, so I'll give you a link to that as well. Hopefully with this video, you now have a better understanding of your intellectual property rights and what you will require to protect your work. Please only use this as a guide. As you know, I'm not a lawyer, so please do consult with one if you would like clarification, and do seek professional advice. Stay tuned for the next in the series, where I will look into how you can prevent theft of your designs and protecting your IPs, and what to do if somebody does infringe your copyright. And do head over to offsetwarehouse.com if you're looking for some fabrics for your next design creation.